Hi everyone, Sunny Nayambia here again. Not at the farm, obviously. We are at the Marriott. And why are we here at the Marriott? We are here to, this is where I record the long form. People always ask me what, recording the long form podcast is all about. Where is it? How does it look? What do I need to do? And so today I'm giving you guys a tour of the setup, kind of see how we put everything together, and hopefully I'll be able to answer some of the questions that a lot of people ask me. For example, why I started the podcast, how hard is it to do, how many people do I need, where I do it from, do I have a studio? Obviously I don't have a studio. We shoot here at the Marriott, at the Cucina restaurant. I have a partnership with Marriott Hotel Kigali, where I'm able to use their facilities. So thank you very much to Marriott. Obviously, they're great partners. So yeah, come with me. So obviously, we do not do the recording right in the Cucina restaurant, but we actually have a private room that we do it from, so that we're able to not interrupt people's meals. So come and see what it looks like.
This is the very, very best. I introduce the very, very next. Big deal, you know this is the big league. Sanga mumihanda ya Kigali mega big fish. Word on the street turakaze. Habari gani mumeze mute. Yutse nshima Imana kuva honda mukiye. If you want the long form, come close murabure.
Wait, what? The long form.
What did he say?
The long form.
What?
The long form.
The long form. The long form.
So this is the setup. This is what it looks like. We have about 3 cameras here, here, and here. Over there you have the sound system where they kind of make sure that they're equalizing everything. Obviously this is my mic. That's the guest mic. I usually don't let people see what kind of water I have because they're supposed to pay for this. This is not going to be a free advertising session. So today there's a lot of people. We can start with the team. Everyone say hi. This is my YouTube channel. Introduce yourselves. Who are
My
you?
name is Kenny. I'm the photographer.
Pacific videographer.
I'm Daniela, photographer.
Hi,
The old man.
Hassan. In charge of this school.
Christella, videographer. Joyce, videographer.
And he's also a big rapper. This
Oh
one.
my God.
So usually this is where I'll sit. I'll always sit on this side every single time. So the guests get to sit over there. I have these little cups. I'm very proud of my brown branded mugs. And so this is really what the setup looks like. Obviously, it doesn't look like this on camera, but this is it. This is it. And so people have asked me, why did I start the long form podcast? And it's a long story, but it kind of makes sense if you think about it. There was a few years ago, maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, around 2022. I've never really loved podcasts. I never did for the longest time. I was more of, traditional media, so a newspaper, a television, a radio. But my wife loved podcasts. And then she would listen to a podcast every day just getting ready, and she still does that today. Sometimes she actually listens to mine, so fantastic. So one day, she's listening to this podcast that's done by the New York Times. It's called The Daily. It still exists today. And they usually would do a story of significance and talk about it, right? So usually it would be American news. But then this one day, they were doing a story about Paul Rusesabagina, the person who who actually was found guilty of leading a rebel group. You know, the so-called hero of Hotel Rwanda, not Visit Rwanda, sorry. But the way they reported on him, these two New York men talking about this Rwandan that I knew very well, they were talking about him like he was a hero, that, like, you know, the government of Rwanda was just acting out. They never mentioned the fact that his rebel group had killed people in Nyungwe and burned buses and killed children. They did not care about that. They just cared about the fact that he was someone who had gotten the US Presidential Medal of Honor or something like that. And because of that, because of the validation that white power or white supremacy had given him, all of a sudden, the fact that he had killed Rwandans was not an issue. And they just made it about something else. Again, it would have been fine, because I know how Mzungu media is all about. Sometimes it's very, very unfair to Africans. But what bothered me was that here I was in Rwanda with my Rwandan wife, listening to this news about Rwanda, but on a white platform. That bothered me, because there always has to be balance. There always has to be those, you know, if there's going to be the New York Times, there should be the New Times. If there's going to be the BBC, there should be RBA. But in Rwanda, there was the daily podcast from the New York Times. There was nothing wrong that Rwandans could do or get news from in terms of the podcast space. So I quickly understood that in a vacuum, that's where the danger is. So I asked myself, okay, is there a Rwandan podcast? No, there was no Rwandan podcast that kind of gave people a better understanding of their country, especially in English. So I asked myself, who will do it? Right? And that was the question that I asked myself a lot was, okay, if there's nothing like this, and so who's going to do it? And I realized that if there's no one else doing it, I might as well do it. And that was a decision I made around 2022. And we're here in 2025, 3 years later, and we're doing it. We have done close to 140 episodes so far. We have over about 1.2 million views on YouTube right now. We have more than a couple million on all our social medias. Here I'm talking TikTok, I'm talking Instagram, as well as Twitter. And we also have thousands and thousands of downloads on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So we've grown. I mean, just recently we hit 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that was something that I'm really, really proud of. And I have huge ambitions for this podcast. I don't think that it's enough to be the biggest in Rwanda. I want us to be the biggest in Africa. I want us to be able to tell the African story. And that's why sometimes, you know, I'll go to Kenya, I'll go to Uganda. Maybe one day when things work, I'll go to Lagos, I'll go to Harare, I'll go to Pretoria, Joburg, the big, you know, African cities, to kind of tell these African stories. Of course, not missing out on Northern Africa and the diaspora. So that's kind of what the long form is all about. It's about telling the African story through African voices. Obviously African, with the context of me being a Rwandan. So that's what it's all about. And I hope that you've learned a little bit more about what we do and how we do it, and what the cost is to kind of bring everything to life. So today, you'll get a glimpse of my interview that I'm having with the head of school of Ntare Louisland International School. That's the big school in Bugesera. And in this conversation, it will not necessarily just be about school, but it will also be about understanding what the future is of education how artificial intelligence will affect the way we learn, and try to answer this question, this fundamental question: is the Rwandan education system ready for the future? That's what we're going to be talking about, and hopefully you'll be able to watch it and enjoy it. Thank you so much. I hope you've learned something. If you have any questions, just write on the comments. Write to me on Instagram or Twitter, and we'll have a conversation. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Headmaster Damien. Although, do you say headmaster still?
So, okay, that's a good.
Is
that's
it
a
school?
good
Is it
introductory
director of
question.
school? Is it?
So the more modern term that I've embraced as my title is head of school.
Head of school.
So,
Damien, thank you so much for your time. This was an absolute masterclass from you on education and learning and teaching. I've learned something. I think there is you have an interest. I think in the metaphysical, and I would love to share your thoughts, hear your thoughts on where God is in a world that is becoming more and more driven less by the mysteries and more by simple computing power.
that is exactly the type of podcast I want to do after this one.
I will certainly invite you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's great.
And there you go.
So,
How bad was that?
no, I thought it was fun.
Ibyo dutunze byaba bike. Something about you just attracts my eye.